Welcome back to Great Day Medical Monday. Fatigue, weight gain, depression, even migraines and brain fog. Many people think these symptoms are just a normal part of the aging process, but growing older doesn't have to mean simply getting by. In order to stop your symptoms, you need to know what started them in the first place. Here to explain, we have Dr. Stephen Hotze back with Hotze Health and Wellness Center. All right, I got to tell you, whenever I'm out, every single day, people say to me, okay, that Hotze guy, okay, the hormone thing, does it really, really work? And they're like, you lost weight. And I'm like, this is how it happened, is I had to balance my hormones. So we're going to go through some email questions that we get all the time about this topic. And the first one comes from Barbara, who says, what is it that hormones really do in the body? And, you know, a lot of us just don't know. And in fact, a lot of doctors will say in medical school they spent a few minutes on it and then moved on.
Well, hormones are chemical messengers made by specific endocrine or hormonal glands. We think in particularly of the thyroid gland, the sex hormone glands, which would be the ovaries in females and the testicles in males, and the adrenal glands. Pancreas also has insulin, which is a hormone, but hormones instruct the cells on what to do and how to do it. The thyroid hormone particularly enables our cells to produce and use energy, which is critical for the functioning of our body, for our thinking and everything. So hormones are messengers that teach the cells what to do and how to do it. And if we don't get enough hormones in the cells, then the cells don't run well.
Yeah, and that's when we see the things like fatigue, unexplained, weight gain, unexplained, PMS, hot flashes, night sweats, poor sleep, all those things that just make life miserable.
Right.
Okay.
And it's interesting, it's due to hormonal decline. And it's also due to toxicity, as we have toxins that build up in our system, toxins from chemicals in the environment we breathe, drink, or slather on our skin or eat. Those chemicals are hormone disruptors, and they adversely affect our ability to use the hormones that we have or produce them normally. So it's a double effect. It's the toxic effect adversely affecting the hormones, and then as we age, it's the natural hormonal decline. And when they collide, it can cause a host of problems. So if somebody's really has a poor eating program and is exposed to a lot of toxins, their hormonal imbalance is much worse than somebody that really is eating right and maybe taking vitamins and minerals and doesn't have the toxic exposure.
So basically your body is in fight mode.
Right.
It's just in a crisis mode. All right, this next question, so you mentioned the aging part, but this woman says, Denise says, my daughter has all of these symptoms, but she's only 23. Could it be hormone related? Again, we oftentimes think this is something that older people go through or after having a baby or something.
Right. Well, hormonal imbalance can happen right at puberty. This is not uncommon for me to visit with women and for them to say, my problems started when I first started having periods and I haven't been balanced since. And that can be due to toxicity. So people may be toxic from the chemical exposure in the foods, let's just say, and they're not eating right. That can adversely affect their hormone production, so they have imbalance in their hormones. Those can be corrected in young women, not with birth control pills. Most doctors will put them on birth control pills, which are counterfeit hormones, which aren't natural. Simply, they need a little bit of natural, what we call progesterone. That's a natural hormone that the body makes to balance out estrogen.
Yeah, and when those hormones aren't balanced, even things like thyroid, you've seen cases where young women will come in, have trouble getting pregnant, and they're not going to if their hormones aren't balanced.
Right. This is what is really key and important to pregnancy and fertility is good hormonal balance and good hormonal function. So if women are having problem with infertility, commonly it's due to a low thyroid condition and an imbalance in the female hormones.
Yeah. You mentioned estrogen earlier. We've heard a lot of people say estrogen dominance, and kind of one way you look at it is that kind of thick middle that women sometimes get around that menopause time. What does estrogen dominance mean? And further, what is the danger of having your hormones out of whack and having that estrogen dominance?
Well, a woman in a normal menstrual cycle, a 28-day cycle, makes estrogen starting on day one, the first day of the period. Mid-cycle, she'll ovulate, and then she makes progesterone to balance out. So the estrogen's the proliferative hormone, and progesterone balances, and it stops the proliferation, it balances out the hormones. So as a woman ages, her progesterone levels tend to decline much faster than estrogen. Then she gets estrogen dominance. And so what does that lead to? Well, that leads to buildup of tissue in the womb, heavier periods, endometriosis, fibrocystic breast
That's when a lot of women
disease.
go say, okay, I'll have a hysterectomy, that'll take care of it. But that doesn't really take care of the underlying problem.
Because the problem was she didn't have enough progesterone. You can prevent a hysterectomy. Normally, if you catch it in time, you can put them on progesterone and you can balance out the hormones so they don't have the heavy menstrual bleeding and the uterine fibroid development. Also, when you have estrogen dominance, commonly that leads to migraine headaches. So that can be a big problem. So women have this problem when they have estrogen dominance. They get headaches, fluid retention, weight gain, premenstrually, and breast tenderness. Premenstrually, that's a sign of estrogen dominance. All they need is a little progesterone.
Okay, this is the other question I'm asked a lot, and this email question comes from Lynette. My doctor has me on synthetic hormones. Every time I watch the show, you talk about bioidentical hormones. What is the difference?
Well, I talk really about counterfeit hormones. Those are hormones, or those are drugs that mimic hormones. Drug companies make molecules that are similar to our hormones, but they never existed before in nature. So they have the effects of the hormones, but they're not natural. Bioidentical hormones are the hormones that are identical. Molecularly, it's the same molecule.
Yeah, your body has no idea it's not doing its own thing.
That's right. And it makes only good common sense and reason. Put the natural back in your body instead of that, which is unnatural.
All right, you got to settle this because my mom said this for years, okay? And Carol is on the same plane that my mom is on. She says, my husband doesn't believe me when I say men go through menopause too. Please clarify.
Women, do you think men have hormonal problems? You know they do. They sure do. And as men age, our testosterone levels decline. And that can lead to loss of initiative, assertiveness, sense of well-being, self-confidence, goal orientation, drive, directness,
even heart disease and things like that when you're out of whack.
Heart disease, you get the inner tube around the middle, loss of romantic moods and inclinations. All these are due to low testosterone, not due to low levels of Viagra.
Okay, well, you know the saying goes, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Right.
And so many women, what we do, we're coming up on Mother's Day, but so many women, what we do is we take care of everybody else in the family and we'll get to ourselves last. This is like, make this this promise that you take care of yourself now. I got to tell you, from my personal experience, I wouldn't be sitting here today had I not gotten my thyroid addressed. I would be bedridden because that's how horrible I felt. So take care of mama, and then everybody else can be taken care of.
That's right.
If you'd like to order a copy of Dr. Hotze's new book, Hypothyroidism, Health, and Happiness, just visit thyroidanswer.com/GDH. In this book, we know sometimes this conversation can get kind of technical, but in this book, he spells it out, what hormones do in your body and how to right the ship if you're having these symptoms. Dr. Hotze also hosts a radio program, Health and Wellness Solutions. It airs Monday through Thursday from noon to 1 p.m. on 700 AM KSEV. You can also listen live online at hotzehwc.com. And for more information on Hotze Health and Wellness Center, call 888-473-5531, 888-473-5531. Each